Hey. I love that. That's making 2 circles on my glasses. Oh God. Oh God. Welcome. Say hi if you're on. I'm going to talk about... Oops. There we go. Oh, that's going to bug me. Okay, that's going to bug me because I'm going to try and get those circles in my eyes. Hey. All right. Welcome. It's day 5. Day 6. Day 6 of my 14-day challenge. And I am pushing through to do this, man. If you guys had any clue, if you've ever done lives, it's not a lack of material. It's a lack of you don't want to bore your audience. So, but it's important to work on this skill set for social marketing people because it's good to do. I love when people don't put things away. This looks like a scary contraption. If you ever had one of those, it's for your back. It's fantastic. Hi, Dawn. I love that profile picture, Dawn. I've seen you around. I've seen you around the block. All right, so tonight I'm going to talk about, this is Amanda Archibald. I'm from Monument, Colorado. And why do I like the self-help aisle of the bookstore? Now, I haven't set my foot in a bookstore for probably 5 years. Amazon's my bookstore. So what I do, I was in personal development for about 12 years as a photographer, and then also I actually facilitated some for a couple years. And so I have been around self-help and coaching for a long, long time. And so I've heard of and seen great speakers, facilitators for the last 12 years. Hey, Rebecca. And so I emailed you that information, by the way. Hopefully you got it. Anyway, so I always write down the books that people talk about. And I just keep this running list. And right now I'm going through my bookshelf and I decided I was going to read a book and then sign it, Amanda from Monument, Colorado, and the date, and then send it on to the next person. The reason I'm doing that, hey Holly, it has been way too long. We definitely need to connect. So that's been awesome because I've had books on my bookshelf that I've purchased probably 10 years ago and didn't make the time to read them. And I want to make sure that I'm reading these books. At some point I thought it would be a good idea, so I might as well read it, right? I'm going to talk about 2 of the books. So I send them on. It's like a traveling library, for lack of better words. And I love it. And I love that they're going to sign it and then send it on to the next person too. But if it's a book that transforms my life, like these 2 that I'm going to show you, then I keep them. They're all underlined and I read them twice or I had to go back to them. That's a good book to me. If you're looking for good books, or you want to talk about any of these books, message me. I'd love to have conversations with you about what the book, how the book supported you and stuff like that. So the 2 books I'm going to talk about are the 2 books that rocked my world late last year into the new year on how to dream again for me. The one thing, I've read it twice and I actually went to a book club group on this last month to talk about this. And this one thing, it's Gary Keller, who I learned was Keller Williams, the owner of Keller Williams, I'm assuming. This book is so fantastic. It really gets you down to The one thing. Okay, so like today, I knew no matter what, I was going to get this one thing done in each categories that we have, like spirituality, work, family. So you have these things that you want to do, but you'll have to read this to understand what I'm talking about. But instead of, what's the word? Being a multitasker was like a compliment in my day, like up till last year, until I read this book. And it basically tells you that multitasking is completely taking two parts of your brain up and you're doing a crappy job at doing two things instead of just focusing on the one thing until it's done. And the biggest takeaway from this is getting down to breaking down a huge dream, like way out here dream, and backing it out 5 years, 4, 3, 2, well, probably 3, 1, and then 6 months, 2 months, 1 month, down to the day. What can I do today to get closer to that huge dream up here? That was huge for me to get this going. Yeah, Holly, this is a great book. Highly suggest. And the other one is Find Your Strongest Life. Why was this book important? Well, I've done personal development for so long that there's personality traits and characters that you associate yourself with, and you label yourself with, and sometimes that's not good. That's putting you in a box and not allowing you to move and shift into all aspects of great personalities. But instead of focusing on the negative of what those qualities are, because really my take on that was, what do you act like, or what do you go into when you're in fear? Well, that doesn't help you create your strongest life, does it? It's focusing on what you're doing negatively. So this book, Find Your Strongest Life, is so awesome because it is quadrants again, but it is about your strengths. And then once you understand your strengths, you understand in a job, you want to stay in those strengths. You don't want to go off into accounting when you're a creative. Does that make sense? It's the best example I can think of. That book was fantastic for me as well, and it was read really closely to the one thing. And that is what I've shifted. Like, I made huge changes, you guys. I switched companies. Like, I made some huge changes that took some balls, honestly, to do. And I am so excited because I'm staying in my lane. I know I'm a creative, and I know I'm a, what's the word? Motivator. So to me, motivator is encourager, motivator, and then a creative. And so I can't just do one thing. I have to switch it up, and I have to be loving on people and encouraging people. And that creates the life I'm excited to be a part of. It helps others, which is, you want your giftings to be going toward others, not just yourself. And then in turn, that brings back financial, hey Charles, financial rewards. So definitely go back and watch this from the beginning. I'm talking about the 2 books that rocked my world last year and the beginning of this year that created such big shifts in my life. So if you'd like to talk more books, definitely message me and let me know what you're reading and why it was good. I have also put out, so I have a running list of books, okay, that people talk about, because I run with some great people that are forward moving. So I write this list down, and then when I'm ready to buy more books, I pick the ones that I have heard a lot of, like The Slight Edge. I've heard a ton. Okay, great. We just picked that for book group. Okay, obviously that book is supposed to be read by B at this point. So that's kind of my little 2 cents for today. Thanks for coming on my live. I've been doing, this is the seventh one for a 14-day challenge. And I'm rocking and rolling on lives. And I hope this brought value to you. And please message me any questions you have about different books, or which is your favorite book and why you loved it and why it supported you making a huge shift in your life. So have a wonderful evening, and thanks for coming on, especially you, Holly. It's late where you're at. So I am signing off. Have a great day.